As our head referee, Mark Alton, gets us underway from Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey. We invite you to turn off the world and turn on the game. We've got Champions League caliber football here in the Garden State of New Jersey. It is RB Leipzig and Aston Villa for 90 minutes. And right off the bat, Openda making his presence felt and drawing the foul. Part of a massive offseason for Unai Emery and this Aston Villa side, which have really started to buy into the youth prospect and really going a lot younger. They were the, on average, 5th oldest side in terms of starting 11 in the Premier League a year ago, and they've dropped that age significantly. Most of their signings in the summer transfer window have been under the age of 23, with the exception of Ross Barkley. Here's Leon Bailey, full-blown international with the Jamaican Reggae Boys, and the delivery from Matty Cash is denied. You see Aston Villa showing their teeth for the first time tonight. Well, Leon Bailey stumbling, and it's going to be in favor of RB Leipzig. But Ricky, you were talking about just sort of the fluid movement, how Villa want to keep the ball. They can also hit you on the break. It's a group that can hurt you in a number of different ways.
Variety for Unai Emery, the way that they like to play. But I do think in this particular match, how clean can that back line be at breaking the initial pressure? Because we've seen if you do, there is going to be real estate to operate in, especially with the relationship on the wide parts of the field.
All the way back for Robin Olsen, 34-year-old from Malmo, Sweden, who's getting the start in between the sticks for Unai Emery tonight. Sandy Martinez expected to link up with the squad sooner rather than later, coming off of what was a daunting Copa America, with Argentina, of course, winning it in the final thanks to Lautaro Martinez, despite the fact that Messi went down in that game with an injury that he's still recovering from. Messi playing his professional soccer now at the club level with Inter Miami of Major League Soccer. Here's Ross Barkley, former Everton and Luton Town man, as well as Chelsea, gives it away in the middle of the park. And he was really the only older quote-unquote signing that Unai Emery made during the summer transfer window, but he's going to be asked to do a lot of the work in the middle of the park. And there's one thing we know about Unai Emery: you have to be extremely fit to play for him in terms of getting up and down the park and being able to play that transition style. Here's Willi Orban, 31-year-old from Kaiserslautern, Germany. Orban with the big switch, able to pick out Hishabu and touch out of play. There's a look at the 47-year-old Marco Rosa, who was born and raised in Leipzig. Actually very good friends with Sandro Schwarz of Red Bulls, the head coach here in Major League Soccer. And he's done a phenomenal job with this group. RB Leipzig, a team that has qualified for Champions League now, 6 years on the bounce.
It's always going to be interesting to see how this Aston Villa side sets up in their structure, whether it was going to be McGinn and pushed a little bit higher, Ross Barkley slotting next to Onana. And so far it does seem like they're playing into a 4-4-2 as Barkley and Onana are sitting, and then you have Villa Jr. on the left-hand side. Leon Bailey will actually pop on to the right-hand side. A lot of fluidity in Emery.
A little bit direct in the direction of André Silva. And scooped up by Robin Olsen, who's made 9 appearances since joining full-time with Aston Villa in 2022. And there is the man Unai Emery, who's won countless Europa League trophies, did an amazing job with Sevilla as well as Villarreal, got to a Champions League semi-final with Villarreal, falling to Liverpool Football Club, but has really made Aston Villa his own and has brought a very proud club that hasn't seen a lot of success over the past 3 decades back into the European spotlight. Bailey once again, predominantly left-footed, so on this right-hand side, he loves to cut in and cause some problems. Onana. Long, lengthy strides, just able to get out of trouble with ease and grace. Pau Torres. Nothing but a layoff, but too much for Morgan Rogers to be able to get a foot to it. Again, Tyler Terrence, Ricky Lopez-Espin, glad to have you with us here for this preseason friendly between RB Leipzig and Aston Villa. Two and a half weeks away from the beginning of both the Bundesliga and Premier League campaigns. This is the first ever time we've seen Leipzig on the shores of the United States for a preseason tour, and they feel like it's the next evolution, just trying to grow the brand again. Just a team that was founded in 2009, and they're slowly but surely starting to make waves, and particularly in Champions League football, which is so popular here in the States, Ricky. And it feels like every single year we see them causing issues for the opposition, getting out of the group of Manchester City. A year ago was John McGinn, went to grab, looking for the foul, and Mark Allenton wasn't interested.
When you look at this RB Leipzig side, it's just so true. They're so true to their identity. They know exactly how they want to play on both sides of the ball. Very comfortable in terms of their possession, but also defensively, that's what they're known for. They want to make life very miserable for the opposition. And so far, about 6 minutes in, you've seen how stout they've been defensively. When the ball goes wide, how quickly they try to squeeze and force turnovers to one side of the field.
Klosterman. Was almost able to get there. It's kindly to Onana. So Diego for Diego Carlos as he links up with Pau Torres, and seeing a little bit of that press from RB Leipzig. Bit of a scuff distribution there from Robin Olsen. Picked up by Almas. Trying to get the return pass from André Silva, the 28-year-old Portuguese striker, coming up to the Porto Academy. Some phenomenal players over the years. Willi Orban. His 10th season now with RB Leipzig. He's got a really good mix of some young players who have just come in the past 12 to 18 months, on top of the fact that they have some guys like Bullen as well as Orban who have been there for either the better part of a decade or 10 years flat.
Exactly, that's counter press that we're talking about for RB Leipzig. How quickly can they recover the ball once they turn it over? Simicon does really well from his right back position to come centrally.
Passing towards Silva. This is clean here from RB Leipzig. Silva dancing around a couple of different defenders and sends it out wide for Almas. And there is John McGinn, and he is a vacuum everywhere for Unai Emery and Aston Villa, as well as being a threat in the attacking third as well. That's a clever play to get out of trouble. Ross Barkley now, and he's got Leon Bailey on the right wing, and it finds the Jamaican. Bailey on that favored left peg. Samuel Illich Jr., the 20-year-old from Islington, England, in his first season, bought for $14 million from Juventus. Concedes possession after what looked like a promising counter-attack for Unai Emery's side. Which looks like a 4-4-2 here from Aston Villa when they are defending. And it's going to be interesting to see from Villains this year how this youth is going to fit into the Villa mold right off the bat, trying to balance the likes of both the Premier League and Champions League.
Just need a little bit more verticality from RB Leipzig, especially from Openda and Silva. 10 minutes in, we've seen them show defeat every single time. We went one of them, make a run, towards a corner flag or channel to pull out a center back with them. It's just too congested through central locations. Really well done from Unai Emery and his boys.
Orban launches it over the top, and easy enough for Olsen to be able to collect. Also spent some time with Everton as well as Sheffield United. To see Ricky this year, of course, with the new format, Champions League as well. We're getting away from the group stages. We're going with basically just a open tournament, if you will, where teams are going to play against one another for the opening stages, as this is given away by Villa. And a crunching challenge from Diego Carlos, the 31-year-old from Brazil. And now it's Leon Bale in the counter again. This looks familiar. And eventually drew it away. And Mohamed Simakala. Part of me, that was Bishabu. Kevin Koppel. He's wearing the MiFi camera for us today. Running the show in the middle of the park and giving you a pristine front row view of what it looks like to be a central midfielder in a preseason friendly here in the United States. We knew that was coming. I'm geeking out a little bit.
Such a difficult technique when you're playing the center of the park in a high-quality match like this. Always have to be checking your shoulder. That's something that we saw from Koppel. Many times he's peeking over, look where his spacing and getting the right amount of balance between him and Haidara in the middle of the field for this RB Leipzig side.
Carlos with the switch. Over to find Luca Dean. His fourth season with the Villains. Met by a crunching challenge from Kevin Koppel. And he's spearheading the counterattack the other way. Late challenge from Amadou Onana. Was a bit nasty given the circumstances here during preseason. And obviously Onana going to check on Koppel and make sure that he's okay. No malicious intent from the $50 million man.
This is the initial 50-50 duel, and then Koppel does really well with Onana. The recovery speed, you need a little bit more options if you are RB Leipzig. It's a tough challenge. It's a secondary leg that catches him. Fantastic look here. The lack of options going forward, so in doing that now, he has to pull this thing back and he gets crunched. To see him back on his own feet.
But it's such a spectacular view because you can see everything in front of Koppel. There was nothing. He didn't have much.
And that's when you're talking about for Openda and Silva to play a little bit more connected. Transitional moments for this RB Leipzig side.
A little bit of organizing to do here for Robin Olsen. Amadou Haidara. 6-year-old born in Mali. Standing over it, and he's got one thought on his mind. And he sends it halfway down the New Jersey Turnpike.
Need to hit it so clean and so flush. To be any sort of goalkeeper from that distance. As he approaches it, he's leaning back. That's why he goes up and over the crossbar.
Again, this is preseason. This is the first preseason game here in the United States for Leipzig, so you're getting the opportunity to work on some things and work on particularly that press and picking up second balls like we saw, because this is something we see them do all the time, whether it be in the Bundesliga or in Champions League, Ricky. And it's not like you just roll out of bed and the press just comes together. It's something that you almost have to work on harder than the attacking side of the ball, because everything is about timing.
100%, and if you get it wrong, we've seen Aston Villa have success. One player slow to step up, now the trickle-down effect, and you're going back, chasing your own net for about 40 yards. So for this Marco Rote's side, if one player goes that line behind them, needs to stay compact. And how compact can you be when you're a high-pressing team? That's always going to be the question. Leipzig have shown ability to be fantastic in that regard.
Cost him it. A penetrating pass. Finding the head of Diego Carlos in the Aston Villa back line. Of course, missing the likes of Tyrone Mings, Ali Watkins, Emi Martinez. Getting a break after a daunting summer of major competitions, as well as missing John Duran, who's been linked with a number of different reports, Ricky, of potentially making a big-time move to West Ham, which of course is going to open up a spot in the attacking third for Unai Emery. And there's been talks of potentially Joao Felix. There's been talks of Conor Gallagher. And I'm talking to some people who are familiar with the club that there have been initial bids that have been rejected, but it just goes to show when you do qualify for Champions League football, it opens up so many doors, both financially and also just in terms of recruitment, because you and I can look at each other and say Birmingham is not the most desirable place to go in England, but when you're playing Champions League football, that's going to get anybody to come across to your team. And it's a good build-up here from RB Leipzig as that takes a deflection and comfortably into the hands of Olsen. But one of the first times we've seen Leipzig be able to unlock Villa, and we're sitting in a relatively low block on that particular play.
Best action that we've seen from this Leipzig side. Just watch as Openda, he continues his run off the blind side of Leon Bailey. Not tracked well enough, but this ball needs to be cut back. Now Velma's about 12 yards out. You pick up your head, you play a reverse ball. Yet, trying to square it across. Olsen does really well to come. Deny that goal-scoring opportunity.
Given away, a chance here for Leipzig. Square back across for Silva. And there's the opening goal. Cheap giveaway from the Villains, and RB Leipzig pounce on it, and they've got their first goal here in the United States. It's 1-0. It's the goalkeeper, Robin Olsen, who's down for Villa. Meanwhile, André Silva struts back towards midfield. And he's not going to have many easier than that throughout the course of this year.
Talked about this high pressure from Leipzig, trying to force turnovers higher up the field. Look how many numbers swarm Ross Barkley when he receives this ball wrong. André does really well to bring in Olsen, and that's when he plays it into the path of Silva. But if you're Ross Barkley, you have to receive this ball with your hips open. As you have them closed, now you only have one side of the field that you can play into. André reads it extremely well. In the blink of an eye, through their pressure, RB Leipzig draw first blood here in New York.
You know, you're going to offend a lot of New Jerseyans with a comment like that.
Apologies.
I know you wish you were in New York.
Fair.
Oh, so you're admitting it. Put down.
I thought you were on my team.
Put down the shovel, my friend. André Silva entering his 4th season with RB Leipzig. Spent some time with AC Milan as well as Eintracht Frankfurt before eventually coming over to Leipzig, and still just 28 years of age, and he's going to be a really important piece in terms of his continuity and being one of the leaders for this group. That was the biggest thing that folks at Leipzig were telling us in terms of the thought process, because if you go back to a summer ago, Ricky, this is a Leipzig team who did close to $250 million in business, selling the likes of Dominic Szoboszlai, selling the likes of Christopher Nkunku to Chelsea. And you would think that some fan bases might get restless, like maybe Liverpool fans who haven't made a signing yet this offseason, and say, well, we got all this money, why haven't we spent it? And for Leipzig, they kept everybody on the roster for the most part. They really haven't gotten rid of anybody. Obviously, Xavi Simons is the one who everybody's going to be talking about in terms of where he's going to go. But for the most part, this is about continuity. This is about making sure that the group who qualified for Champions League last year stays together, gets better, and obviously is going to do some bigger and better things in 24-25.
It goes back to exactly what I was talking about, identity. They know exactly their responsibilities within their structure, offensively, defensively. You look at a side that finished 4th in Bundesliga, so they expect to be better, push higher up the table. Like you said, when players have a year under their belt, now they get more confident. When they're confident, they start to express themselves a little bit better. Big things coming from this Leipzig side.
look at the collision, and obviously accidental from Haidara, as he just stumbled over the top of Olsen, who had already gone to ground. So again, nothing malicious in it whatsoever, but obviously need to be careful due to the fact that it was a head injury from Olsen. Doesn't get too many opportunities, the Swedish goalkeeper, given the fact that Emi Martinez is one of the best that not only the Premier League has to offer, but the world, as we've seen at both the club and the international level. But he's also incredibly durable. You never really see Emi Martinez miss too many games. But there's certainly going to need to be some rotation if you're balancing FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Champions League, as well as the Premier League slate.
It's going to be a frustrating one for Unai Emery to concede. If you want Olsen, there's no need to play this ball into Ross Barkley whatsoever. But if you do, then you try to recover from your mistake. You overcommit. Another plays the ball into Silva. Now you're down the goal. It's a big test early on in their preseason to show just a little bit of fight and a response here.
And this is obviously coming off the back of that 4-1 loss against the Columbus Crew, the reigning Major League Soccer Cup champions. That's simply winning the playoffs, not necessarily winning the regular season. That honor belongs to their rivals 90 minutes down the road in Ohio and FC Cincinnati. They won the Supporters' Shield. Columbus, a very good team. They're waiting for the knockout rounds of Leagues Cup, which is a new tournament here in North America that features both Major League Soccer and Liga MX teams down in Mexico. And Columbus needed a game on their slate because they were going to have 2 weeks off. So they obviously booked Villa, who are already in the United States, and Cucho Hernandez, who a lot of Premier League fans will be familiar with in his time at Watford, put up a first-half hat-trick and put Villa to the sword almost immediately at lower.com field. Granted, a lot of rotation in terms of not the first-choice lineup, because you can imagine Unai Emery wanted that first-choice lineup to go up against the Champions League side like Leipzig. But nevertheless, not a great start considering what happened several days ago. Luka Dean. I'm jockeying with him. Luka Dean not exactly thrilled with the call from Mark Allenton and company as possession goes back to RB Leipzig. And now he's going to change his call, and that seems like the right one.
And this Villa side has found success playing between lines. It needs to be a little bit more consistent in terms of that. More decisive, especially the 2 center backs, Torres, Carlos Diego. Be able to look beyond the pressure, find McGinn, find Rogers, who's been really quiet about 23 minutes into this match.
Excellent feed from Elmas to get away from the initial challenge. It's another giveaway from Villa, allowing Leipzig to be able to go on the other end. And Onana is down for Villa, which is not a great look. The same goes for Openda. Lo and behold, our 2 players to watch during our pregame. So Nanu comes away a little bit more worse for the wear.
Just covers so much ground, Onana, but it's his left leg that gets caught under Openda, falls extremely awkwardly. So he's okay to keep on going. That's a bit scary if you are Unai Emery.
So the athletic training staff will work on Onana. And when you make a $50 million investment and somebody goes down like that with one of those types of injuries, whether it's serious or not, you typically err on the side of caution.
He's shown the quality why they brought him in. Comfortable on the ball. Imposing figure in the center of the park. Covers so much ground defensively. That's a good sign that he's back on his own power. Him, Ross Barkley, has that double pivots are going to be the foundation for this Aston Villa side.
Look from our MyFly cams, and that's Morgan Rogers of Villa. Haven't really seen him get too involved in the proceedings just yet. So we're about halfway through this first half at Red Bull Arena. And the golden touch allows him to be able to trickle comfortably into the hands of Robin Olsen.
Keith, anything?
how congested the center part of the field is from this RB Leipzig side. So now if you're Aston Villa, you're asking for someone to stretch them, to give you route one option. What you don't want to happen is to give the ball back over to them because they're so quickly to turn their defense into offense.
Uncharacteristic there from Matty Cash. Against Orleans, and everybody's taking off the training wheels after what I'm sure was a good opportunity to recharge during the summer. It does take a little while to really get going from a map fitness and touch standpoint.
Last thing to call when you're off the offseason is your game sharpness. Quickly can you get in the rhythm, the game speed, and that's why this game is taking a little bit of a slower pace. Start out.
Late after the goal, certainly didn't help either. I'm sure as a player when there was a good pace to it up until that point, and it just sort of stops and everything falls dead for a moment. It's difficult to ramp up the energy once again, particularly in a preseason game. Here's Kapu.
Really well done tactically from this Leipzig side as they split the two center backs. Kapu drops in, so now you afford the outside back to push higher and create overloads. In terms of the spacing for this Bundesliga side, really well done.
And it's a yellow card shown to Diego Carlos, and it looked like some shenanigans away from the ball. And Openda and Diego Carlos getting into it, both of them being shown a yellow. And it looked like Openda was just trying to come across the front of Diego Carlos, who just sort of stuck out an elbow. And Openda obviously wasn't a huge fan of the gesture from the Brazilian.
As a center back, you always want to be aware where the striker is, but just look at the left side of your screen. Openda comes across, little drop of the shoulder, knows exactly what he's doing. Himself a yellow card from our fans as well.
Actually looks like a young man who's wearing a Chelsea kit who is holding up the red card. Chelsea didn't exactly get off to a great start in their American tour. Losing by a couple of goals to Celtic in the Scottish Premier League. To do for Enzo Maresca's side before the Premier League kicks off in 2 weeks' time. Orbach. Haidara. Kevin Kapu. The skipper Willi Orban again. Congestion and miscommunication, as you can see. Kevin Kapu and Elmas are trying to distribute the real estate appropriately. As Bishamu was trying to hit it on the first time and ends up committing the foul on Matty Cash. A lot of Villa supporters behind the Robin Olsen goal.
And he's down yet again.
About to embark on his 5th year with Villa. Originally from Berkshire, England. He's 26 years of age, came up through the Nottingham Forest Academy, spent some time with the senior side as well. He was the Forest Player of the Season in the 1920 campaign. He actually won the Villa Player of the Year a couple of seasons later. A little bit of interest from Atletico Madrid before signing a 5-year extension a couple seasons ago. To see this from Robin Olsen, and this was a few minutes ago in the opening goal from Leipzig, as Haidara just squaring it back across for André Silva. We thought that he was going to be okay, and now it looks like he's going to need to receive further treatment.
It's the right knee that catches Olsen. Leave a mark on priorities players' health, especially in preseason.
And it looks like it's going to be Olivier Zik who's going to come on, 20-year-old from Poland. Only just signed a year ago. He typically plays with the U21s in the Villa organization. And indeed, that is going to be the first substitution of the night. So Robin Olsen's work is complete after about 30 minutes after taking a nasty shot 10 to 12 minutes ago. And it's Zik onto the scene. Helped them win a FA Cup youth tournament in 2021. Promising young goalkeeper, takes up a lot of the frame. Great opportunity, though, to get some minutes with what is effectively the first team for Unai Emery.
I'd be surprised if we've seen the two center backs, Torres and Carlos, just play him the ball, himself some touches, let him grow into this game. Other side for RB Leipzig, you test them really, friendly or not, you're here to win.
Now I'm trying to thread the needle for Leon Bailey. It's his wires crossed with Ross Barkley. That'll settle things down. Now Torres moving it along for Luca Dean. Barkley, who's responsible for the giveaway that led to the Leipzig goal. Onana. Bullen Jr. Onana. Bullen Jr. once more. First down quickly over on the far side by Hassan Ouedraogo, 18-year-old from Mulheim, Germany.
Just a bit slow from Aston Villa. Doing really well getting themselves into that final third, but he just needs to be a little bit more decisive. We've seen Eric Jr., we've seen Leon Bailey kind of hesitate to pull the trigger and make a decision. Such a cool look.
Especially in the throwing too, where there's so much traffic and just trying to find a way to get open. As the foul's going to be called against Openda. He's not exactly making friends with the Villa back line. You can see that Luca Dean is having a conversation with Haidara and just telling him, well, your boy hasn't exactly been all that friendly during this friendly.
And it's a foul. Question whatsoever. And they're not even looking at the ball. Plays the body. Diego Carlos.
You would never do something like that back in your play.
Never. I thought I considered a foul. That Unai Emery needs to get more involved with McGinn. To find any sort of pocket the space to operate in. It's coming essentially going out to the wide parts of the field.
Simakan with some good pressure. Going through for Openda. Challenge from Matty Cash. Looked like it was a clean one initially. That's what Mark Allerton thinks. And now space to run the other way for Villa. Leon Bailey trying to hold his run and he couldn't hold it. Had he been able to do so, Villa would cook it in the other direction with about, looked like a 3v1 or at least a 3v2.
We've seen Villa be at their best when they're quick and playing in between lines, whether it's Eric Jr. or Leon Bailey, about a yard offside. Great look from our crew. It's head off in terms of the timing, and that's exactly what you would expect in a preseason match. Timing, rhythm, understanding. Those things come with the more games that you play. Your game sharpness.
Lost him. And the battle is cleaning things up. Torres. toward this right-hand side. And got the delivery away. You can hear it from some of the crowd mics that picked it up. Wasn't thrilled with the afters there from Moshada Bishabu.
Just looking to get touches, McGinn. That's why he pops off to this near side, but you want him to be operating high up the field underneath Rogers. He's showing how special he can be for Aston Villa.
Now with a nice switch, Luka Dean get his delivery away from Simaka. Clever step though from Pau Torres. Read it well. Getting away by André Jr. And now it's Openda in the other direction. 1v2. Luis Openda trying to split two different defenders in Diego Carlos and Matty Cash, and they did well.
Once this ball turns over, Openda takes off. He knows where the real estate is, and he's looking for this ball over the top from Haidar. A fantastic recovery run from Matty Cash. As Diego Carlos pitches over, takes the inside track, and cuts down the angle.
Correct traffic now. Bullen Jr. making a run into space down the channel. Morgan Rogers. A daisy cutter across the field for Leon Bailey now. Bullen Jr. thought about it. Buckley. He's not bashful from distance. I fall kindly from again. Instead it's Luka Dean now. This delivery is a dangerous one and gobbled up by Peter Gulashi.
Yet again, Bullen Jr. does really well to create a little bit of a window to pull the trigger as he takes that second touch horizontally yet again. RB Leipzig have the ability to close down the space. Dean puts in a really clever ball in. He's just trying to bend it 6-yard box. Asking someone to slash across that near post, because if they do, they cause that man some issues.
34-year-old keeper Gulashi from Budapest. His 10th season now with Leipzig. One of those lifers, if you will, on Marco Rosa's side. What to do here for Gulashi. Let's pace off for Villa. Luka Dean once more. He's been enjoying himself on that left flank. Clever ball. Rogers trying to get to the end line. And his delivery took a deflection, so it will be a corner for Villa. And they're starting to get in the groove a little bit here in New Jersey.
Fantastic bit of play from Villa, but it starts with how comfortable Torres is on the ball. Bullen Jr., he comes centuries. That actually opens up the passing lane for Dean to come across. It's a deep line run from Rogers. Give credit to him. The ball comes across and denies the angle for this ball, sweated across. It's the best action that we've seen from Aston Villa.
So from the corner, McGinn able to turn. Lost it out. Bailey was there. Not exactly a vertical threat. And Leipzig able to deal with it. Openda. Oh, is he adventurous and fearless as well? Spark the counter-attack on the other end for the Bundesliga side.
Yet again, it's Matty Cash. Did really well. Cover the space. Sound defensively, but also offers you quality in the final third. 2 goals, 2 assists last season.
Will open up Bundesliga play against VfL Bochum on August 24th, and then we'll take on the reigning champions Bayern Leverkusen in the second game of the season. Villa playing Silva as they continue their U.S. Tour. Bullen, the most dominant side of Liga MX, at least for the past couple of seasons. Villa will play Dortmund in a friendly as well. Continue to get their Bundesliga fix. Open up against West Ham on August 17th. At the London Stadium. And Villa's home opener at Villa Park will be against Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. That should just be a little bit of fun, given all the underlying stories in that fixture. First movement here, both on and off the ball from Leipzig. Shabu got his delivery away. Openda on the turn and gets his second bite of the apple, and it is a sweet one. More pushing and shoving going on after the fact. It was Openda in the middle of it yet again. Diego Carlos having none of it. And the referee choosing not to get involved right now. He's just keeping an eye on things and is going to make a decision after the fact. Obviously, refs during a friendly want to try to stay away from sending players off. There's a good front row view of all the shenanigans going on after the goal. Well, this has certainly been in the making, and it is going to be a red card for Diego Carlos, so his night is finished.
Talked about them building out a three-back system, so now you afford your outside backs to be expansive and provide width. Matty Cash can't come across quick enough. You get a second bite at the apple for Openda. Really well worked for RB Leipzig yet again. Quick movement, players running off the ball, getting themselves into dangerous areas. And this is where Diego Carlos gets in trouble. Knows exactly what he's doing. Comes across the chest of Openda.
Well, you saw Openda as soon as he puts the ball in the back of it, it immediately starts jawing at Diego Carlos. So he certainly went after it. I don't think he was expecting any repercussions of that variety.
And does really well to split the center backs between Torres and Carlos. Words after. Rightly so. Our referee, Mark Gallatin, early shower for Diego Carlos. Had a frustrating evening just dealing with the movement of Openda.
By the way, can we have a rule from now on? If you're going to get in a little after-goal scuffle, you can't touch the guy who's got the my fly on, because that's our view into everything. You can't mess with him. So now I believe the referee is having a conversation with Marco Rosa, the head coach of, or excuse me, one of the assistants for Leipzig, as well as somebody from Aston Villa, just trying to see if they're going to actually hold true to the red card and if Villa are in fact going to have to play a man down for almost a half of a friendly in late July. Because you do want to use this as a chance to work 11v11, but it's obviously up to the two teams.
It does seem like coaching staffs for the respective sides are actually pleading to have 11v11. It's the fourth official that's holding back.
So for the moment, Villa down to 10. Onana's moved to the center back position. And it looks like Villa are going to be allowed to replace the sent-off Diego Carlos. Well, I didn't have that on my bingo card tonight.
Expect anything. International friendly.
It looked like there was a Villa player who was set to come on, and now he's putting his bib on once more. Trying to get as much information to you as possible once it comes across our desk, but obviously, this being a friendly, you can sort of make up the rules as you go. Lost a decent idea for Openda. He appreciates the effort. So that's going to do it for the first half here from Red Bull Arena. Entertaining to say the least. We've had a red card, we've had a couple of goals, we've had a goalkeeper change due to a head injury. But for the moment, RB Leipzig with a 2-0 lead, thanks to goals from André, Silva, and that man, their leading goal scorer from a year ago. And the third leading goal scorer in the Bundesliga a campaign ago, Loïs Openda. Ricky Lopez-Espin, your thoughts?
It's been clinical from RB Leipzig. Their pressure, you get the opening, and then the way that they work their second goal, really clever in terms of the spacing, crisp passing. And then Openda doing what he did last season, get himself in a dangerous area. He gets rewarded, walk into halftime. 2-0. A lot of work to be done for Unai Emery and Aston Villa.
Well, we're going to step aside here from Harrison, New Jersey. It was all hugs and it was all pleasantries until it wasn't. Diego Carlos sent off. RB Leipzig capitalizing off of some mistakes from Aston Villa. And it's the Bundesliga side with a 2-0 lead heading into the halftime break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Harrison, New Jersey, and the Villa fans right now looking for anything to cheer for. Obviously, came to see their side play, and right now, not looking so good. And despite those looks, the Leipzig fans should be the happier ones, up 2-0 here at Red Bull Arena. Tyler Terrens along with Ricky Lopez-Espin, and we appreciate you tuning in here on a Wednesday evening, and we'll take a look at how it went down over the first half. And Ricky, I don't think a lot of us could have expected exactly what we saw, and the drone shot is great. The MyFlag cams have been excellent, but then all of a sudden, giveaway from Ross Barkley, André Silva with the opening goal, and Leipzig were off and running.
First, it's not the best decision from Molson, but Ross Barkley, the way that he receives this is detrimental. And Darwin does really well just to pick his pocket, and then it's all about the timing from the center midfielder. As he pushes a little bit higher, he brings in Olsen. André Silva gets the opening goal for RB Leipzig.
And then Robin Olsen, after trying to continue, could not. Leipzig would continue to cook a little bit, despite a couple of valiant efforts from Villa on the other end. Kevin Kampel linking up with Bishambu, and then Openda thought he had it on the first try, took a second crack at it, and then starts to jaw a little bit at Diego Carlos, and then it all popped off from there.
And it's the best action that we've seen from this Leipzig side when they build on a three-back system. So now you have for the outside backs to push a little bit higher. Openda gets himself in a dangerous area, and you can't do that for Diego Carlos. Already on a yellow card, he sees a second yellow, that's a red, and he's off to an early shower.
So here's a look at the stats from the first half, and obviously given the sort of stop-start and herky-jerk nature of what we saw, there wasn't a ton of, and anytime you come into a preseason friendly, you're not expecting the highest of quality, but this one was cagey right from the moment the referee said go for whatever reason.
It has a really slow tempo between both sides, but you start to see quality, especially Aston Villa found some nice little moments when they had the ability to break the initial pressure, but we haven't seen that consistent enough from Unai Emery and his side for RB Leipzig. It's been professional. Compact defensively, when they're on the ball, they seem the best when they move it quick.
Well, the fans here will enjoy a beverage, a snack. We encourage you to do the same, and when we come back, we'll continue to talk about these two sides, what they have ahead. We will not talk about the New York Knicks, despite some of us wanting to. Welcome back to Red Bull Arena, more specifically inside of the locker room for RB Leipzig during this friendly featuring the Bundesliga side and Aston Villa of the Premier League. There you see Peter Gulaschi trying to get something to drink before the two sides head back out onto the field here in the Garden State, as the RB Leipzig fans got something to clap about. Whether they're doing it voluntarily or not is an entirely different story. But nevertheless, we've had a couple of toys to play with, including the first-person view. The FPV drone flies between 15 and 70 feet. And it has been the closest drone footage to a live action in a professional soccer game. And how about the Mindfly body cameras that we've seen in the likes of Kevin Kampel and Morgan Rogers? Those have been a lot of fun to watch tonight so far.
They've been fantastic. It gives you first-hand experience, and like you're on the field playing with these quality of players, how quickly the game moves. And we saw a little bit of a scuffle to go with that. You're getting your money's worth with the Mindfly body cameras.
And let's check out some of that footage from the first half. Kevin Kampel spearheading the counter-attack the other way. Lay it check. Awesome stuff as usual, and how much fun is technology? Lots of fun. So is this game. Leipzig, Villa 2-0 right now in favor of the German side. Stick with us, second half kickoff coming up next. getting set for the second half in this preseason friendly here in the United States between RB Leipzig and Aston Villa. Tyler Terrans along with Ricky Lopez Espin, fans of all ages, making their way out to Red Bull Arena here in Harrison, New Jersey to catch a glimpse of their side, or potentially a side that they never get to see in person due to the sheer distance that is between North America and Europe, and such a treat for these fans to be able to do so. Obviously, we have some New York Red Bull fans who are in the house taking a look at the team that is at the tip of the mothership under the Red Bull umbrella. And now we're going to get the two teams finally making their way out onto the pitch in what has been sort of a wacky night thus far, Ricky.
Really stop and start. We have not seen either side getting any sort of rhythm. Leipzig have been professional in their structured defending. Build out in a 3-back system. I thought Campbell's been really good as he drops in between both center backs. And then you have players higher up the field being expansive in nature. And Aston Villa and Unai Emery, they've shown when they have the ability to break the pressure, there is a lot of real estate if they can operate it. We get Leon Bailey a little bit more involved, Hilling Jr. as well. Your front three, Rogers. You get them more influential in this next 45 minutes. That's going to be a massive talking point for the Premier League side.
And for Aston Villa, we're going to have 4 changes at the start of this second half. It looks like Jacob Ramsey, Ian Maatsen, Yuri Tielemans, and Jaden Philogene are going to come on for Unai Emery. Meanwhile, for RB Leipzig, we are being told that Yusuf Bullen is going to come on in addition to one more player. Again, with it being preseason, things aren't exactly as fluid and as structured as a regular season game, so we'll try to get that information to you as quickly as possible. So Van der Voort is going to come on, the 22-year-old from Saint-Truiden, Belgium, in his first year with his new club. Signed a 5-year deal back in April of 22. That started this year. He was with Genk from 2019 through last season, and he was the youngest goalkeeper in Champions League history at 17 years, 287 days in a 4-0 loss to Napoli. So not exactly the start that you want, as our drone capturing some epic footage of the second half kickoff here from Red Bull Arena. And it looks like Villa will have to play with 10 men. And that is confirmed. So Diego Carlos, who was sent off right before the halftime whistle after the second goal from Loïs Openda, leaves his team stranded here in New Jersey, playing down a man, down 2 goals. Leon Bailey making way for Jaden Philogene. Maatsen coming on for Luca Dean. Samuel Hilling Jr. replaced by Jacob Ramsey. And Ross Barkley replaced by Yuri Tielemans. As we mentioned, Yusuf Bullen replacing Simakan. Van der Voort coming on and replacing Peter Bulashi. Continue to see some more substitutions as the night unfolds. Typically around this time, Ricky, you like to see your guys get anywhere between 50 and 60 minutes of match fitness underneath their belt. You don't want to go full 90 immediately for some of these guys, particularly for Leipzig, who just landed in the United States on Sunday.
We talked to some of the members of the staff and said, look, we've had only 2 training sessions. One was 80 minutes, the other one was 100. So still the jet lag out of our bodies. Expect them to play 60, 65 minutes, and then we'll see a plethora of changes. They seem really sharp. Their pressing triggers, when to press, when to drop. Defending, that's something that Marco Rose has shown. Only conceding 39 times in the Bundesliga last season.
Challenge from Ian Maatsen. Starting that Champions League final against Real Madrid for Borussia Dortmund, and got invaluable experience. From Chelsea, actually being bought for $37.5 million by the Aston Villa front office. Well, what has been a massive splash in the transfer market, money that has not been spent by this club in years past. And been a long 3 decades trying to get back into the limelight. Austin striding forward. Simakan. Orban getting forward, and now this is just over the head of Onana. Eventually collected by Leipzig, 20-year-old from Poland and a member of the U21 squad for Villa. He replaced Roten towards the end of the first half, who had to sit down with a head injury. Torres somehow kept that in play. And this is dicey working here from Aston Villa as they almost gave it away. Cleaned up by John McGinn. And Morgan Rogers well offside.
The second time. Player for Aston Villa gets caught. A bit flat-footed, quick to react. And always has his head up, trying to break lines with his passing. 4 assists last season. There's a plethora of options, whether it's centrally, whether it's wide. All the way through and through from the skipper for Aston Villa.
Klosterman. To Bullen, trying to lay it off. Elmas pulled the trigger, but always yanking it wide. And that's what Bullen is capable of. Wily veteran. He's just really clever on the ball, and he's one of the more cerebral players in the Bundesliga, and he's been doing it for so long.
5 goals, 7 assists last season, so he shows you the ability to bring players in really clever in the way that he just peels off towards, and now you let Elmas come around the corner. Tries a wrong foot. Zig here just pulls a little bit too wide, but yet again, Leipzig has shown their best when they're expansive. They're outside backs behind wide, so now you force the issue for Aston Villa to rotate over and lack thereof. And that's what's causing a breakdown defensively for the Premier League side.
Kevin Koppel trying to thread the needle for Bullen. Bullen, by the way, playing in his 12th season for RB Leipzig. Here's Pau Torres. Played by Jacob Ramsey, but quite fine Yuri Tielemans. Being an apparent head injury allows Mark Alton, the referee, to stop the play. And the player in question is Hassan Ouedraogo. Some good moments in the first half. An 18-year-old from Germany, offered 10 million this summer from Schalke. Box-to-box midfielder who Marco Rosa and the Leipzig staff are really excited about. His father played for the Burkina Faso national team back in the day.
Defending from Aston Villa in that instance. Make the play negative. Now you give yourself time to rotate back across. Do not let a team break through you, whether it's changing the point of attack or playing vertical to Openda or Bullen. That's when they can really hurt you with the numbers, especially in wide parts of the field.
Torres with a timely intervention. Jacob Ramsey on the turn. Didn't quite link up with Rogers, who got a toe in there, but RB Leipzig and now curled into the path of Openda. And the flag is now going to go up. And you saw the hesitation there from the assistant referee, because obviously the assistant refs nowadays are trained to let the play unfold if it is close and they're not sure because of VAR. Obviously it's a friendly. We don't have VAR at our disposal, so the assistant referee was caught in two minds there, and eventually the flag went up.
Initially it is Openda that gets caught offside. A bit off in terms of the timing from Elmas. A yard or two offside, but the argument for RB Leipzig is he doesn't affect the play, but he does. You see this back line for Aston Villa, they slow down. It's actually Bullen who was onside from a deep blank position. See see the argument for the Aston Villa players. Rightly so. That's always that gray area for a side referee. Does he affect the play? Does he not? Bullen is not offside. He starts about 5 yards behind the confrontation.
Dangerous ball inside of RB Leipzig's own penalty area, but somehow they got out of trouble. Silva. That's an excellent ball along for Openda. Olsen lining up what would have been a spectacular, but that one ends up traveling in a negative direction away from goal. Capo. Openda with the goal tonight. Now to even further. Olsen trying to calculate position for Nana. It's going to be a difficult task. And Olsen is no slouch himself, standing at about 6'1", 6'2", but Onana at 6'5". By far one of the more towering figures that we're going to see in the Premier League, particularly in the middle of the park.
Moves really well for his size as well. Very soft feet that he's shown, especially in the first 45 minutes.
Compton now orchestrating. Elmas.
Great ball.
Yeah, Bullen going to keep it in play. Couple of scissors and ends up running out of real estate. Goal kick to Villa. That closest live action from a drone. A professional soccer match. Get up to 70 feet in the air. So Bullen on the turn. Good ball on Torres. John McGinn. Scottish international is just a little bit too late in picking his head up and trying to find Morgan Rogers.
It's going to be a lot of this in the second 45 minutes as Aston Villa still playing down a man. Defend for large portions. So now if you are on the ball, how clean can you be retaining possession? Rogers needs to do a little bit better than pulling off his run. The same page between him and McGinn. The second time, a matter of 10 minutes that they've been off the mark. It's a good training opportunity now for RB Leipzig. How do you deal with being a man advantage? Great ball.
Silva offside.
There's by tendencies out of when you're up a man. You think you have more time, you think you have more space to slow the game down, but it's actually the opposite. So we've seen Aston Villa, they're going to be compact, they're going to be narrow in their structure, so you need to move the ball really quickly from side to side. As you do that, now you can open up gaps, you can play in between those lines. And that man, well, he's going to be pulling the strings. He's been really influential on the German side.
Cash putting on the moves, but can't link up with Morgan Rogers. Openda was in an offside position.
Rogers is going to be really important as well for Aston Villa. He's going to be the focal point. He needs to do a little bit of a better job at holding off the two center backs for RB Leipzig. Obtain possession, draw some contact, draw some fouls, and now we have the ability to gain some real estate higher up the field.
Roberts with a real chance there to collect and kind of drive forward, but it's tough to let him down. Capo again. He's been a busy boy in the middle of the field. It typically is for this side. Villa still playing a high line despite the fact that they are down to 10 men. Silva comes back across for Poulsen, but it's offside.
They've been so good in the wide parts of the field, this RB Leipzig side. And that's pulling the strength division. Great look at it yet again, about a yard offside from Silva. The strikers there, no, never agreeing with the referees.
I want to see a striker give a thumbs up to the assistant referee and say, you know what, good call.
I don't think ever.
Torres. That's it. Jacob Ramsey on the turn. Really well done. So Ben Dunker and a couple of substitutions getting set to come on for Unai Emery. So it'll be Formey, the third-year head coach for Aston Villa, at the next opportunity. And they're trying to hold his line. And the offside flag is up, actually, from the head referee. So it will be Dendoncker, Buendia, Milokovic coming on, as well as Barnabas. Part of swap, if you will, despite the fact that it was a separate transaction with Juventus. Sending Douglas Luiz in that direction, getting Millen Jr. as well as Barnabas. Dendoncker, a familiar face in his third season. Milokovic in his second year, just 18 years of age. From Serbia, came up to the Red Star Belgrade Academy. Now goes it to see Emi Buendia back and healthy for this Villa side. For $33 million after helping Norwich. Promotion and championship player of the season before eventually going to Villa. At the time, it was a record sale and purchase for both Norwich and Villa. And of course, the injury prevented it. Really making his mark on this Villa side.
Do a lot of defending when he is on the ball. Good, can he be a keeping possession for his side, much like Rogers? He's going to be the focal point, leading the pressure, but also being that first outlet when they do recover possession.
Silva.
So interesting watching this RB Leipzig play. How tactically sound they are. Starting a four-back system. It's actually the front players, the wide players that come centrally underneath the number 9. When in possession, they build out into 3, so now you afford your outside backs, much like this, to provide the width and create an overload for opponents and their outside backs. They need to make a decision. Do they go out and face 1v1, or do they stay compact with their structure? And that's where the Leipzig side has been really causing Aston Villa some issues.
Intended for Koppel. Zick was off of his line and able to gather it after the second bounce. Is going to come on and he'll replace Loïs Openda, who registered the second goal for RB Leipzig this evening right before the halftime whistle, and of course incited the dust-up that eventually got Diego Carlos sent off, which is why we have an 11v10 fixture here in Harrison, New Jersey. But Openda, whether the goal was clean or not, already in goal-scoring form.
As advertised, really clever with his movement around that 18-yard box. Worked great on both sides of the ball. First line of pressure, but also always an outlet, willingness to run the channels. This is where he makes his living. And around that 6-yard box, just notice how he gets in between both center backs. Torres can't get to him. Diego Carlos can't see him. Second bite at the apple on the back of the net.
Robert Ramsack, the 17-year-old who is a European and world champion at the U17 level with Germany, with his teammates Winners Asoe, as well as Udu. Opportunities like this that don't come very often for young players at clubs like this to be able to play overseas in the United States, getting ready for a Bundesliga campaign. Ramsack will most likely spend most of his time with the lower levels of the RB Leipzig organization.
Not forget, yes, it's a friendly, so tactically you're trying to get things right, trying to get into game fitness, game sharpness, but also for young players, much like Ramsack, it's an opportunity to showcase yourself.
Dia got the pass away, disrupted in the middle of the field. Simikan.
Opportunity to showcase yourself to your manager, saying when team sheet comes out, I should be in the 18-yard, in the 18 players. Just coming off the bench.
Elmas. Trying to find Poulsen. André Silva as well as Loïs Openda, both in the first half, and then Diego Carlos sent off right before the halftime whistle. Tyler Terrence along with Ricky Lopez Espin. Preseason friendly here in the United States between Leipzig and Aston Villa. It's the second game of the tour for Villa after a 4-1 loss against the Columbus Crew. Opening game for Leipzig as they participate in a U.S. tour for the first time in their club's history, of course, founded in 2009. Koppel. More subs getting ready for RB Leipzig as well as Villa. Unlimited substitutions and limited amount of rules when it comes to preseason friendlies. Closer and closer to get to both of these sides starting their respective domestic campaigns. Feel more and more like a dress rehearsal. Villa will take on Borussia Dortmund in one of their final tune-ups ahead of their opening game against West Ham. Ricky, one of the biggest points of preseason, not only to get match fit, not only to get touches in and obviously start to get in the flow of things, both on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. So we'll get to that in a second as Bogart is going to come on, the 20-year-old from Rotterdam, Netherlands. Came up initially through Feyenoord and then eventually through the Villa Academy and signed in 2021. Replaces Pau Torres.
Torres was on better for the second 45 minutes. More aggressive, stepping off his line, clogging passing lanes. A really difficult time between him and Diego Carlos in the first half, dealing just with the mobility of the front line from Leipzig. And again, we see the high pressure.
Well worked here by Villa. How can they get out of pressure and switch the point of attack? Indeed they can. Matson. He's named the best left back in the Champions League. The most recent edition of the tournament. With Borussia Dortmund falling to Real Madrid in the final at Wembley. He's making a penetrating run over on the left-hand side. Tielemans. So cool on the ball. Barking orders for Aston Villa as they're working on playing with 10 men, and perhaps a good opportunity for the English Premier League side to get this sort of work in, because you and I both know, Ricky, you're not going to go the entirety of the Premier League season without receiving a red card. It's going to happen at some point.
A little bit of fight. You galvanize the troops together, defending around the ball. What can you take care of it? Needs to get a lot of it in the second half. Other side for Leipzig, opportunity to be vertical and exploit those gaps. Again, from wide parts of the field, but just needs to be a little bit quicker in these moments. You draw in Aston Villa, go out the other way, and vertical runs down the central locations.
Leipzig off and running. Poulsen should be outside. His first touch let him down. Six spilled it initially, and then eventually cleaned up by Bogart.
That's what I'm talking about. You draw them in as they step a bit higher. Now you have the real estate to run in behind. But Poulsen's first touch lets him down. But then it's clean out of his body. It's a 1v1 between him and Zick. Give credit to Zick. Comes off his line really quickly, closes down the space. So if you are Aston Villa, when Dia comes in, he's a different profile than Rodgers. He wants to come to feet. He wants to be part of the build-out. So now, as he drops in, you need someone to provide a little bit of depth. Nice ball.
Scooped over the top.
Don't touch, don't touch, don't touch.
Philogene trying to get on the end of the pass from Yuri Tielemans, and here's another look at Olivier Zick. Almost gifting an opportunity here to Leipzig.
Wants to take that touch across his body. Olsen, as he elects to go with the outside of his right foot. Really difficult. That gives Zick the ability to sniff it out. But that will be his last action.
So Jamie Shieldus will come on and replace Poulsen. Same goes for Ligo Gebe. Noah Yatta, 18-year-old in his second year with the first team. Played one game last year in the final game of the season in the Bundesliga against Frankfurt. Starting to see more of the academy flavor for Marco Rosa's side. Some of the bigger names that we saw starting to play close to 72 minutes will take a seat. Billy Orban being one of them. Precipitation starting to fall from the sky here in Harrison, New Jersey. Also trying to penetrate with some crisp passing in tight quarters, but unable to do so.
Yet again, you have no one. Staying a little bit high for Aston Villa. Back to what I was talking about, Buendia, different profile than Rodgers. As he drops in and provides a little bit of an outlet in the build-up phase, you need someone to stretch his back line. If there is no presence now, you give RB Leipzig the ability just to step a little bit higher, be more aggressive, and squeeze this field.
Troublesome right now for Villa to try to get out of their own defensive third. Obviously, the quality in players dropped a little bit with some of the substitutions that they've made, but they've still got some players on the field, including Jacob Ramsey, Yuri Tielemans, players that we're used to seeing every week in the Premier League, whether it be in a starting role or off the bench. Buendia as well, trying to get match fit. It looks like Nicolas Sewalda as well as Sakar getting set to come on for Leipzig. Jacob Ramsey beat Simicon to the punch. And a rare touch for Van der Voort, the goalkeeper from Leipzig. The design of Red Bull Arena, despite the heavy rain that's coming down, almost all the fans are protected. There are some that are still catching some of the rain, despite the fact that there are large overhangs that protect a lot of the seats. Here comes Sewalda and Sakar. Abdul Adara's night is done. 75 minutes worth of work.
He's really good. Really good at covering ground, defending, putting fires out, clogging passing lanes, tough in 50-50 duels. Was the one that created the opening goal. Him, Kampel, Elements. He's shown a nice little understanding and relationship in the center of the park. This Leipzig side.
Sakar, just 16 years of age. Alex Moreno coming on for Villa as well. You can even tell that the 9-5 body cam is catching some of the precipitation. Buendia. Years of age, originally from Spain, entering a second season with the Villains. Spent some time in the Barcelona famed academy La Masia. Hamstring surgery and a season-ending injury in May of 2023. Returned in November during Conference League for Villa. Madsen. For André to be able to have the likes of Madsen, who's got Champions League experience up until the final with Dortmund, as we've discussed, and backing up Luka Dean and It'll be fun to see who's going to win out in that battle in the end, because you have to imagine that Madsen, who's still very young, just 22 years of age, is going to push for that starting spot, despite the fact that Dean is obviously one of the more grizzled veterans on this team in terms of Premier League minutes, as Villa earn themselves a corner and some cheers from the Villa faithful behind the RB Leipzig goal.
Really good opportunity now for Villa. Take a look at the camp. Fucked up as well. So forth some sort of attacking presence here, looking for quality.
Bullen's teasing ball in. Just put back in, hoping for a Villa kick. That's it again. Tielemans will stay with Villa. One of the few times that we've seen them have sustained pressure in the opponent's defensive third. We were starting to talk about it a little bit earlier, but this Leipzig team trying to get some of the youngsters involved in the attack. Aston Villa.
Stuck inside now. Sir Gebel. Or maybe Leipzig makes the wrong decision, tries to play into the feet, the ongoing runs. That's when you just need to bend it out and put it in front of your teammate. Let him run onto it. Really difficult when you're running full speed to get your feet underneath you, have a clean first touch.
Is for Leipzig with all of these academy and young players on the field. Got a couple of the more common presences Leipzig has to offer is out there with them. So just trying to shield it out of play. Interesting delivery that didn't get past the first defender. One of the more important things that sort of goes unnoticed about preseason is also the team camaraderie aspect of it, because when you come to the United States, you're with everybody all the time. Meals, hotel room, who you're rooming with. Obviously, some of the older players will have their own room, but just building that team chemistry off the field that we really don't get to see, whether it be as broadcasters or fans, it's invaluable, especially when you go down the stretch and you're on the road for Champions League, you're traveling to long domestic league games. Those types of things do matter. Sakar throws in a beautifully weighted pass, and good defending in the end from Bogart, and it results in a Leipzig corner.
100%. How do you adapt with things that you can't control, whether it is your pregame meal, your timing, little things like that make a massive difference once the regular season comes around. It's preseason that actually sets you up for success. You said the relationship that you form off the field translates to what you do on the field. That's something that we've seen from this Leipzig side in particular. On the opening goal, every single player in the white jersey goes to the corner to celebrate.
Outswinger from Kabul.
It's also a chance for the youngsters to understand what it means to be a first-team player. Day in and day out, how do you carry yourself on off the field and during training, how professional you are. It's not only what you do in between the white lines, it's everything off the field that puts you apart as well. The recovery, the nutrition, the rest. Yes, when you get up to this level, all those things make a massive difference, but nothing like the first-hand experience. It's a good ball.
From Zing. Got one D, and then Tielemans alleviating some of that pressure, finding Madsen. To be able
idea to stay a little bit higher, just to give some sort of real estate to operate in, building out. Because as he's coming to feet, again, just make the field really small. And that plays into the hands of this Leipzig side, especially the two center backs can be more aggressive.
Even the moments where Leipzig have been able to capitalize when they swing it from side to side and then eventually some sort of swung and pass behind this high line that Unai Emery has implemented, despite the fact that they are down to 10 men after a red card in the first half, and that foul's committed just outside the penalty area.
Fantastic run. Draws in 3 players. Clear foul.
I think it was Nedeljkovic who committed the foul for Aston Villa.
Jota. Leipzig, I'll take back the luxury to have it when you're comfortable with the ball at your feet. Each player's 1v1, but can also whip in a dangerous service. And these are nightmares to defend if you're Zig. Opening for that back post, any sort of traffic can throw you off.
Straight at Zig.
He's been good. It's coming on unexpectedly. Olsen Zig, easy with the lack of warm-up. Landing his 6-yard box. Then the save that he's intended to.
Docker for Bogart. Tailored into a nice little pocket. He's eased up here in Red Bull Arena just for the moment. Moreno, the attack from Madsen. With that running, the ball is really starting to move on the surface here. Fearless. Ball going the other way. Good chance here, and it's yanked wide in the end. That's Benjamin Šeško, 21-year-old from Slovenia.
And again, the vertical threat from Leipzig does really well just to play off the shoulder and run the channel, but just pulls it a little bit too wide. We think he has more time. He's aware about when you take a secondary touch into the 18-yard box, and that's when you open up, whether it's the near post or far post. A little bit more composure from the youngster.
Saw some of that composure during the Euros. He's outstanding in Slovenia, one of those smaller countries that thoroughly impressed, while a lot of the major powerhouses during the competition seemed to let us down. Those nations who were just thrilled to be there and had quite literally nothing to lose, they were the ones who were expressing themselves and playing freely. And sometimes we're producing the most exciting matches during the competition this summer. Alicia Bulls going to take the scenic route over on the far side of Red Bull Arena. And he's going to be replaced by Jonathan Norby, 17 years old. Again, made his first Bundesliga appearance against Frankfurt in the final day of the Bundesliga season last year. And Kevin Koppel is also going to make way. And we can wave goodbye to the Mind Fly Bobby Kent. It was fun while it lasted. Nothing lasts forever. Schauer, another one of those German U17 players who's won both the World and the Euros at that level. himself available. Tielemans. Across for Ian Matson. Then Dunker. Rookie, this would typically be the time of a friendly when I would ask you which of the two managers is going to be more happy with the performance. Wow, how about that? The mind flag camp. Having a Red Bull at Red Bull Arena. It's Red Bullception.
Some advertising there.
It's called product placement.
That's fantastic.
And how about the work from our crew as well to be able to capture all that, and they've worked it in seamlessly throughout the broadcast tonight. Good feet there for a brief moment from Faik Sakar. He's been impressive, the 16-year-old. You're not 16 years old and getting runs at a United States preseason tour unless you've got some magic in those boots.
A bit of a glimpse of how comfortable he is in tight spaces, the confidence from the young man as well. How many times have we heard young players getting their opportunity and making the most of it in friendly games like this? Not shying away from the moment. Showing a lot of good cameos from young players. A lot of building blocks to be had. If you are Unai Emery, Marco Rose.
Keep it.
This is what's been hurting Aston Villa. No presence on the front line, and eventually no goals to show for it.
And 2 goals to show for the work of RB Leipzig. Marco Rose will be happy with the first ever game in the United States for the club that was founded back in 2009. They take their talents to Harrison, New Jersey. They are victors here at Red Bull Arena. Aston Villa dropped their 2nd straight game amidst their preseason tour here in the United States. And while it might be late July, you just have to wonder if perhaps there are some question marks circling Unai Emery's Aston Villa heading into this Champions League campaign. It is still way too early to tell, but for RB Leipzig, they'll be thrilled with the performance. Ricky Lopez has been your thoughts on it all.
Professional from the Bundesliga side, defending really well in unison, but also their high pressure was effective. Picking and choosing their times, went to force turnovers, and clinical in the 18-yard box. The big-time players made big-time plays. I thought Openda was fantastic. The center part, Almas, Campbell, and Hadara, they dictated tempo. So if you are Marco Rose, you're probably the happier of the 2 managers, and a lot to build on from this performance.